Okay, hi. Hey, if you're new here, welcome to the FitZen Project. And if you're not, you already know we don't play small around here. I'm Rachel, corporate project executive by day, yoga teacher and retreat host by passion, and a woman wildly committed to helping you stop outsourcing your power. This show is where structure meets soul, where we regulate the nervous system and scale the business, and where we stop pretending burnout is normal. Quick love to the humans and brands that brought this show, and I actually use all these in real life. One Oak Financial, because money conversations should feel empowering. Rage Create for bold, creative entrepreneurs. The Expansion Room with Jennifer Liss. Lotus and Luna. Lifeform Yoga Mat. My ride or die. And Prana Yoga Wear and Breathwork with Tabatha Debruyn. She is a game changer. Links are in the show notes. Support the ones that support this work. And all right, let's get it. Let's talk about today. I hope you had the best weekend this past weekend. I tell you what, it was one for the ages with me because I got to celebrate my son turning 5. I wish I could put it in a bottle and drink it all day, every day, because it was one of the sweetest moments watching him be so happy. We got yard signs from Big Day Display. It's local here, and she did a phenomenal job. She organized the signs, brought them to my house, put them up, and then we surprised my son the next morning with what we called birthday fairies. And then she came and took them down in 48 hours. It was like just renting them. So if you can bring that type of joy to your kids, I 10 out of 10 recommend. If you're local to Central Kentucky, Big Day Display is who I used. And Lindsay Francois is just amazing. So speaking of, I had this gorgeous conversation with Tabatha Debruyn. So if you click on her links in the show notes, she has all sorts of things that she offers. And one of her specialties is 9D breathwork. And I'm telling you what, you'll hear my Raven review all throughout the podcast and how it landed with me. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode, shall we? Oh, here we go. Hey, Tabitha.
Here.
I'm so glad you're here. And actually, I've been looking forward to this ever since I experienced your magical gift of the 90 breathwork. It's so awesome. And if I could give you 100 reviews, I would, because they'd all be like 10 stars, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
So much to me. And what 9D is experiential. So I'll do my best to communicate it. And I really hope that you'll share a little bit of your experience if you're comfortable. But yeah, to put a set of headphones on and actually breathe it takes things to a whole new level.
That ain't a lie. So I love asking one specific question to all of my people to kick off our conversation. And I'd love to ask you, what does it mean to you to be in the business of yourself?
Oh, it means the impact I can make in the world is truly up to me. And I have a desire to make a big impact. And I don't mean that from an ego place. Now, do I love entrepreneurship and the flexibility and the ability to add a lot of value and therefore be able to bring in a lot of financial means as well? I do think money is the currency of gratitude. And if I give a lot, I can receive a lot and I can put that back out in the economy. But the biggest thing is nobody's going to put a limit on the impact that I can make in this world but me.
Oh, I got full body chills. That's, I love that you just aligned that with energy and gratitude and how it literally everything you just said, it flowed through you, as in it's coming to you and you can open yourself to receive and then you put it back out into the economy. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. When did you come up with I guess what happened in your experience to where you knew this was your calling, this was how you wanted your life to lead your life?
I wish I could tell you it was a straight path. It was windy, but it all made me who I am today. And it feels like I am absolutely exactly where I'm meant to be right now. I was a high school teacher for 15 years. I really loved teaching with all my heart. And it was the whole concept of empowering, especially teenagers, to know what they're capable of more than they ever thought possible. And then teach them a love for learning and the discipline to be able to stretch themselves, be uncomfortable, fall, get back up, grow, fail forward, if you will. And 15 years into my career, my salary was capped. And as much as I loved teaching, I had that niggle inside that I was destined for a bigger life. And I had two boys. They were 9 and 11 when I stepped into entrepreneurship because I wanted to travel with them. I wanted them to see the world beyond Ontario, Canada. I wanted them to have adventures, but I really wanted them also to have the experience of doing mission work. And I couldn't do that on a teaching salary without putting it on a credit card. So rather than leave teaching, I stepped into a part-time entrepreneurial opportunity and I fell in love with it. I loved the freedom. I loved the possibility, really loved that I had lifted the lid on my life and realized that I can do more. And within a year, I'd built a multi-million-dollar online business and was really, truly enjoying it and started to teach other startup entrepreneurs. And so I chose to leave the classroom, not because I had to, but the world became my classroom. And I, with my husband, was able to travel the world with those boys, have some extraordinary adventures because travel really can help you become the person you're meant to be. And we did mission work. We were very involved in building a school in Guatemala. And now we work with one in Tanzania. And I started into coaching, transformational coaching, helping people realize there doesn't have to be that lid on your life. You can step into something more if that's what you desire. And as I was really loving the coaching, I came across this block almost every time with these extraordinary people where I would say over and over again, if I could take my eyeballs out of my head and pop them into yours, you'd be flying because you would know what's possible. But they were coming up against these really limiting beliefs, these self-doubts, and they weren't advocating for themselves, no matter how much mindset work and psychology I was doing with them. So I had already completed metaphysical psychology, but I went into rapid transformational hypnotic therapy so that I could get past the conscious brain and really start to reprogram the subconscious brain. In the meantime, while I was doing the mom thing and the entrepreneurial thing, I was also a primary caregiver for my mom. At 58 years old, she became very ill and it was sudden. And in my extended family, there was a lot of PTSD, anxiety, some depression that had come in. So I was very curious about how I could tap into modalities to support them. And I was also, because of entrepreneurship and the freedom, I was able to be there with my mom for 10 years. We had 10 years together, which they didn't think we would have even one. And I really felt like I was able to hold space for her. Never left anything unsaid because I never knew if that was the last time. So I knew when she passed that I would grieve, of course, but I didn't realize the depth of which I would grieve. And I was fine as long as I was with everyone, doing the mom thing, doing the entrepreneur thing. If I was serving somebody, I was absolutely fine. Nobody would have any idea other than, oh, she's sad, she's lost her mom. But in the privacy of my own thoughts, and when I was all by myself, I was having panic attacks. My hands were going numb. My heart was palpitating. I was struggling with insomnia. So I had functional depression, but I was embarrassed to tell anybody because I'm the person people go to. I have the treasure trove of modalities to support people. And so I didn't tell anyone. I was suffering in silence. And I believe when the student is ready, the teacher comes. And I was looking for something. And I came across Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly is the founder of Breath Masters as well as 9D Breathwork. What he had to say about this active, conscious, connected somatic healing through breath work was different than anything I'd ever done before because I'd done meditation, I'd done breath work, but it really aligned and it felt good. It didn't feel like it was going to be easy, but I signed up for a 90-minute session. He was in Bali, I was in Canada. It was online and I went all in. And on the other side of that 90-minute session, I became aware that I had repressed anger, disappointment, sadness, resentment, fear, and it unearthed all of those feelings. I didn't relive any of it. I was a detached witness, but it literally came up and out of my body. And on the other side of that, I thought, I have greater peace, understanding. I actually have a better relationship with my mom now. I truly think she was working her magic in our soul contract, if you will, that I needed to know the depth of despair someone could feel within their body and how this modality could make a difference. And on the other side of it, I knew that this could be the through line to all of my transformational work. And I've dedicated each of my days since that day to mastering the skill and getting the information out for people to know what's possible with their breath.
Oh my gosh. There were like 500 times I wanted to shed tears during that story. And I first want to thank you for sharing that. And that felt very real and authentic and like went straight to my heart. So thank you for putting that in the space. Oh, I felt very much the same through when you gifted me my opportunity to experience that 9D, and it was you nailed it on the head, and I haven't been able to put words like that to it, as a matter of fact. And it was so much more than just it wasn't reliving any of it. It was literally being a witness to it and providing this a new lens to all of it that happened, and then being the same person with a different perspective and not having to carry any of it anymore in finding a new way to come out on the other side and feel so much peace. And that's exactly what I felt when I got completed with that. And I mean, that happened, what, 2 weeks ago, and I still feel so much peace. Like it was a forever reminder that the perspectives are real. And I think that we can carry that around us through our entire life. And I think it's a lot of, how we can heal childhood traumas, and you can go through therapies, and there are so many modalities to get through to the other side. And I've done so many, but this one in particular felt like 10 years of therapy or talking about anything with anybody, just got to the piece quick like that in 90 minutes
I
and
know.
carried forward.
I love that for you. It makes me so happy. And you described it really beautifully. It was like you have a different perspective on the other side of it. You keep all of the wisdom,
Yeah.
but you let go of the tension and the hurt and the pain. You actually allow your body to do the healing and move that out of the body. So on the other side of it, you have greater expansion and greater health actually in mind, in body, and soul. So then you've got greater energy
Yeah.
and more clarity. And then you start to take action from this new healed place. And that's why people will say it's like magic tab. My life has changed. And I'm like, it's not magic, it's neuroscience. If you want me to explain it, I can. But really, what 9D breathwork does is I teach people breath patterns to change the state within the body. At first, you feel very calm, you feel very safe, so you know that you are fully supported. And then we activate and we move that energy in the body to go in and find what's not working. We actually activate the body and limit the blood flow temporarily to the prefrontal cortex, which allows you to open up the subconscious mind. Sounds like it's a lot of work. You are breathing, but you're listening as well. And all of these, it's a whole a group of modalities placed together, which I'll explain, but it puts the body at ease, opens up the mind. You go into the subconscious, and as you're guided, we start to extract and pull things that we've suppressed. And some of it we know, some of it we are not aware of, and much of it is generational, which I know
Yeah.
that sounds so strange, but we get to pull that forward because through cellular memory, it gets passed on. And that's why on the other side, people are like, I really feel like I've cleansed and I am more expansive than ever before.
Yeah. And that generational piece, like I feel like I tapped into my parents in a way that they don't even know. They and I'm like, should am I allowed? Like it's almost like is this a boundary, you know? But it was things that I realized that I carried on their behalf. And I totally just, like, let it go and told him about it. I told my mom about it. I was like, "I've been carrying this shit for you for I don't even know how long," and I just realized it, now I don't anymore. But it was so, um, very much like that. It was just letting that piece out of my body, and I could feel it, like, in my toes and in my fingertips, like, in big sensation. Like, that was effort, but there was so much ease in all of the whole experience. But I love that you can explain this more in depth with the neuroscience. Can you talk more into that piece?
Sure. So the breath patterns change the physiology, change the state of the body. And if everybody would just take one breath, because it can become like a superpower, it's with you at all times and it's free when you become conscious about the fact that if I breathe a particular way, the body will feel a particular way and the brain can work differently as well. Most people go around their days just in our frenetic pace of life. We're asked to do more in less time. We quite often are chronically in the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, freeze. And we want to be most of our days in the parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, and heal. So if we could all just notice how we breathe, there's every breath you take offers you something different in life. But if you're doing it just from the automatic nervous system and not consciously deciding how you're breathing, then you might be just causing your body more tension than it needs and it gets burnt out and you get brain fog. So if we could all just take one breath through the nose, deep into the belly, like you're inflating a balloon, because most of us breathe in through the mouth, into the chest, hold the shoulders really high, and you hold your abs really tight. But if you're thinking about bringing air into the body, you want to inflate the diaphragm, the belly, actually push it out with that air like you're filling up a balloon. Let's try it and just notice how your body feels after one breath. In three, two, one, take a deep breath in through the nose into the belly and breathe out through the mouth like you're breathing through a straw, longer on the exhale. That one breath brought your heart rate down, your blood pressure down, and actually brought more blood to the brain. So you can come from an aligned response as opposed to just into that constant reaction. So, knowing how your body can feel different with that one breath, then when you're with a trusted facilitator for somatic breath work, whether that be a 5-minute reset, a 15-minute, you want to switch your perspective, or some real trauma healing, or moving through grief and loss, or moving into resetting the body from burnout, fatigue, anxiety, and depression, we have to change the state in the body first. So we usually start with down regulation. Sometimes the entire journey is all down regulation and can be extraordinarily restful, peaceful, rejuvenating, and very cathartic. Because when the body feels safe, the mind will follow into a more positive, affirming, empowering state. But what we did with you with that letting go journey, which is my most popular journey, is we started with down regulation Then we got into activation. Now, if you're driving, I wouldn't recommend you do this, but if you are in a safe space and can take 5 deep breaths, and we're going to reverse that pattern that I taught you. Rather than breathe through the nose and longer on the exhale, which puts you into rest, digest, heal, we're going to temporarily put you into fight, flight, freeze on purpose, because this can get you very, very focused, very creative, gets you out of the monkey mind and into the subconscious mind. So you're going to take a deep breath in through the mouth into the belly, and then you take a second sip of air into the chest, and then you relax and you don't even think about the exhale. Let's do 4 of those. Just notice what you're feeling if you're not driving right now. Take a deep breath into the belly, through the mouth, into the chest. Relax and let go. Belly, chest, relax and let go. Belly, chest, relax and let go. One more, really deep. Belly, chest, relax and let go. If you did that, you probably feel this energy coursing through the body. This can be better than a cup of coffee. If you're feeling lethargic, you're not motivated, you want to get creative, you want to get super focused, you want to have more courage, more charisma, do 5 deep activating breaths. Deeper in the on the inhale, short on the exhale, because what that did was it made your blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. It quieted that monkey mind, those ruminating thoughts, and opened up that subconscious mind. So that gives you an idea, but the breath is only one of the dimensions in 9D breathwork. So 9 stands for 9 different layers to this modality. Breath is the wisdom, breath is the medicine, breath is the power. But we also use music. Music evokes emotion. When you have beliefs and thoughts that are ignited with emotion, it anchors it in. So what we want to do is we want to use that emotion to be able to unearth some of those limiting beliefs and activate some of those really positive beliefs that are going to serve you better. We use frequencies in music. A lot of times we use 432 hertz that puts the body at ease. We use binaural beats. They're particular sound frequencies and beats that slow down that beta brain, that conscious mind, those ruminating thoughts, so that we can move into other thoughts. You've got neuro-linguistic programming, which is really powerful language that is going to lock in the good thoughts and unleash the bad ones, unshackle you from them. It's got subliminal messaging. So we're working on this hypnotic level. And some you hear, some you don't hear, but it's anchoring it in. So what happens in the journey is just the beginning, because those are being replayed and deepening the grooves in a more optimistic, powerful way, and so many more things. That's why I always say, go to my website. If you sign up for the newsletter, you will get a 7-minute cinematic trailer. And you've done that, right?
Yeah.
So you will hear all the different dimensions, and they're all extracted separately. And then Brian Kelly, the founder of 9D, brings them all together. So you realize, wow, this is like entertaining. It is breath work, but it's a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. It's a total blast, quite frankly, because you're just like, whoa, this is happening. This is happening. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But it's so like in that ease. I can't explain it even more because you said earlier, you're like a trusted facilitator. And I really believe that is also one of the key, that is the key ingredient to doing something like this, because you are, there's a lot of trust when you are in that state. And it's a super vulnerable state, in my opinion. I was super thankful that I had you to lead through that. And I don't know if I would have, um, I don't know anyone else that does this, first of all, but also second of all, it takes a long time to open up to a verbal therapist. You know what I mean? To like try to dive into something so deep. But what's really cool is there's no real conversation with you about going through it. You're being led and guided with this 9D, this music and this did you say sub language, subliminal?
Subliminal messaging.
Subliminal messaging. And that's what it was for me. Like I could hear you and coming through with that, but then my body did the response. And it wasn't even a reaction anymore. It was just like a responder. So it was really cool to have that. And then you held space at the end, like to be able to talk through it if we wanted to, but nothing was like, you still have no idea how deep and far I went, but I can just tell you, it was just like phenomenal, you know?
Okay. So thank you for trusting me. And one of the things that I do is if you go to my website and you book a 30-minute discovery call, that is a complimentary call. I want to work with people who truly know they are safe, that they are the captain of their ship at all times, but that I've got them. And so that trust gets developed in a conversation to start. I do work on an intuitive level as well. And I find when people come in, they can drop the mask a little bit faster. They can share or not share. They don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to talk about it. But if you want to, I am trauma informed. I can do that integration after, which is a really, really powerful piece. It's work that I take seriously. It can be a lot of fun, and I know it makes a big impact, but I take it seriously, and I've got you.
Yeah. And you could feel that even moving through, like from the beginning and having that open conversation and then moving through it. And then at the end, being held and supported through what all just had transpired. You could totally feel that from a end user perspective. I did. And what I liked what you said a minute ago was that the body it acts first and then the mind follows. And I think a lot of humanity, just in general, as um, unaware as we may be, we think that we all lead with our mind. And can you talk more about that, like from your expertise and what you've seen, how it is truly the body's first?
What I know to be true is so many of us want to fix a situation in the energy that the problem was created. And you can't do that. Within the body, you change the state first in the body so it feels safe, so it's not reactionary, and have that clarity in the mind to come back to a different perspective. It makes a world of difference. And I'll give one of my tangible tools that I teach people is whenever you're feeling reactive, if you can catch it, awareness is that first step to all transformation. And we as a family do this as well. If we feel like we're getting caught up in the energy, and then we immediately say 5 feet, 5 minutes. Just take 5 feet away and 5 minutes away from whatever it is you're doing, if you can. If you can't take 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, take 1 minute and take yourself out of the physical energy. Give yourself some distance. And when you take that pause, take a deep breath in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Your reaction is going to be very, very different when you go back into that space. So, yes, changing the state in the body before you try to reach for a better thought or the thought that comes to mind first will always serve you better. And even if you're in a conversation where you can't leave the situation, if you really can't, if you have a glass of water with you, take a sip, take a pause. That pause allows people to know I care about this. I am not simply responding on the heels of exactly what you said. When somebody feels seen, heard, and felt, and you have taken time to regulate your nervous system, even in that one pause, we mirror each other's nervous system. We mirror each other's breathing. So if you are acting from a calm place, the person you're speaking with is also going to be more apt to follow that pattern.
Oh, yeah. I can sense that just with my little 4-year-old. You know, if he gets real caught up in energy and I match him, it just exasperates and gets way worse. But if I'm like the parent instead of the child, you know, and I'm like, all right, let's tone it down and I can change the tone, automatically is met with like a hug, we always end up hugging. I'm like, do you just need a hug right now? And he's like,
Okay.
yeah. And then he'll say something like that I'm still bothered or whatever. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. But he's really self-aware for 4. Actually, I think he's better than I am, to be honest. About all. I'm like,
I'm sure you've modeled it for him.
"Mm,
But I will give a technique because I work with kids as well. And if we can start, first of all, I think you regulating the parents is going to lead into supporting the kids always. But even when they're young, like 3 or 4 years old, when they're frustrated, they're just beyond themselves. There's no rational thought. I think all of us adults can be like that sometimes. What I will do is I will get them to march and move their body, move their knees up and down really high, march, and then blow out the candles on a cake. March, blow the candles out. March, blow the candles out. Do it. And before 5 are done, they're laughing. But we've changed the state in the body so we could get into a different place in the mind. And that's actually what I just did when we were doing your somatic journey and you were doing, you were breathing, adding that energy. We were changing the state
yes,
in the body.
that's awesome. I'm gonna write that into an oracle card." I'm already done. That is awesome. Oh, wow. So you said you work with families too, and as part of your coaching, you do 12 sessions together. Is that right?
I have several programs. It depends
Oh,
what
okay.
people are looking for. What I recommend is just come in, do that complimentary session. I'll show you what I have to offer. I can intuitively see what I believe would be best, but my 3-month transformational coaching program, hands down, is the best I can offer because you get everything and it's one-on-one. Now, 12 sessions is just really the beginning because some of those are going to be breathwork sessions. Some of those are going to be real mindset tool and energetic work with practical application. But you also have access to me via voice note. And you'd be surprised. And I know you had Deepak
Chari.
Chari on
Hmm.
your podcast. What you can do with voice between the two of you does I work all over the world. Most of my work is done online, but I do have a breathwork studio right in my home as well. But you'd be surprised what voice notes do to stabilize and then optimize. But I work with not just one person, but quite often they will say, "Can I bring my sister?" You'll do a breath work with your sister. Both of you have very different needs, very different situations, but you're going to use the same journey, but I get to hold space for both. And sometimes it's kids, sometimes it's moms, dads, sometimes it's partners. So they call me the secret weapon for high achievers because I take people from where they are, and it might be great, it may not be, and how they're feeling to where they really want to be and how they really want to feel. And because of all the modalities, I get to shorten that learning curve. And yes, the 3-month transformational coaching includes all of my modalities, but also all of my self paced recorded breathwork practices. My signature program is called From Burnout to Brilliance, and you can do it online, live, or self paced. And you come in, I teach you one of those, like the 5 minutes, 5 feet. That's just one of the 28 that I give. So it's a tangible tool that can be so powerful. And then I teach a breathwork pattern that puts the body in a particular state. So you start to learn that. So it becomes part of the automated nervous system. Oh, when I feel like this is what my body's going to reach for. If I want to feel like this is what I'm going to reach for. And then we do a 9D breathwork practice in order to anchor that in. And then there's a 9D breathwork meditation that anchors in all of what I've talked about. So you sit back, it's less than an hour in a session. You could piece them and do them little bits at a time, but you have access to that at all times. So I have several programs, but those are my two biggest ones. Now, a somatic breathwork journey, whether you're looking to let go of something, I have a cellular regeneration, dealing with anxiety, depression, and burnout. I've got healing the five primary trauma imprints when it comes to addiction, when it comes to breathing through grief and loss, when it comes to money mindset and building that money portal and opening up those things and letting go of what no longer serves you. Like I have an entire library. So I do private sessions, which we curate what would be best for you. And when you're a private client, obviously I'm just like, okay. And on Thursday, we're going to do this one. That'll take things to a whole new level. But we can decide and book that private session. They're usually 90-minute sessions like you had. Or every Tuesday, I do an online group somatic journey. Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now, if that's not good for you, reach out if I have enough people that want to start to do group sessions at a different time. I will put that on, but that is a group session where you can come in and be with like-minded people and take your continuous healing to that next level. And then I do corporate events and even corporations put me on retainer. So I get to work with the people and then take their productivity to the next level.
Wow. You are a magician. Yeah, what did you say they called you? What was the
The
term?
secret weapon for high achievers and their families.
Yeah, there you go.
Appreciate that, and I love this work. I hope you can feel that in my voice and in my passion, but it's not magic. It really is neuroscience.
Yeah.
It is, and I think there's high vibration in love and possibility and hope, and that's why I'm here, to empower people to know they're worthy and capable of absolutely living a life they love that can even be beyond their wildest imagination right now.
Mhm. I love that about you, and I really feel it, like, when you speak, when you are describing everything that you offer, and also just knowing that you started in your life this way, like, with your teaching career and making that big leap into trusting yourself and trusting this next phase of your life. I love that you had that soft transition too. I see that a lot in entrepreneurs where they carry their full-time job and then eventually your beautiful hobbies and your passion and everything start to meet you exactly where your full-time job is. And then you switch over. Is that what happened with you in working with this?
It's a beautiful description, and I hadn't really thought of it that way, but yes, because sometimes we can hold on and fight for our limitations. And there was a time where I didn't want to leave teaching because it had brought me so much joy. And I was so grateful for that career path. But letting go of that so that I could open up and walk through fully through, joyfully through another door was exactly what was necessary. It's hard to say goodbye to that.
Yeah. That is a hard piece because it where in my like where it hits in my life, for example, I'm loving that I'm getting to podcast, and this is such an element for me where I get to meet amazing people all over the world. I mean, I live in Kentucky and experienced your work, and you live in Ontario, Canada. I've had people on here from Ireland and Europe and just all over the place, and they meet me exactly where I'm at here. And I think it is just so great that this is something that I tapped into. But then there's other mentorships and stuff like that that I didn't even know existed. I had no idea what 9D breathwork was until I started studying you and saw your website and everything. I had no idea. I was like, what is
Your
this?
podcast so full of different sorts of modalities, some that I had never heard of, and I'm pretty well versed in this. So thank you for taking the time to find those modalities that might be exactly what somebody needs right now. It
Yeah,
it really is noticed.
it's so much fun and an extreme pleasure to get to put this out in the world. I mean, it's a worldwide healing power that you offer. I think that is just the coolest. That makes me so giddy. Like that is just awesome.
I am so grateful. And I really believe the world needs this modality more now than ever. So I'm very grateful that you are giving this a platform and a voice for people to start to understand, demystify, and know there is so much more to breath than just breathing.
Yeah.
Like people, why do I need a breath coach? Why I breathe all the time. But do you know the power that your breath can have in your body, your mind, your stabilization, your joy, and your optimization? Because if you don't, reach out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I got another cold chill like through the whole entire body. Yeah. If you don't know, you need to know. Definitely, I would recommend Tabitha. She's just amazing. I feel very fortunate that I got to have the time that, I mean, just the little times we've had together, it's just been a big game changer. And I think there's going to be more. I mean, it's already written. It's just putting it together, putting the pieces together. So I'm excited for that, for me and my, and how it's going to continue to amplify. So, woo!
I could see some retreats together. I really could. I think it'd be so much fun. I just know that
My heart.
together we would draw in the most exquisite humans.
Anyway, yeah, back to retreats together. My gosh, I'm having one March 6th and 7th and 8th, and I'm learning sound bath right now, just on a side note. And I just bought my first set of crystal bowls, and they're chakra bowls, and I was playing that, and it is one of the most fun things I've tapped into, like me physically moving it around in a long time. So I'm excited to share that at the retreat, but also if we had breath work,
Let's do
a
it.
whole new level. I can't wait. This is happening. Oh, Tabitha, thank you so much. And one last stop, your website address is
Tabatha, Tabatha .online. Tabatha.online. And I'd love for people to follow me and come and get to know me on social media, on Instagram. I like to play on there. I'm very authentic. I do bring nervous system regulation techniques, but I like to share my life as a whole. And if you'd like to go follow me there, it's at Tabatha Debruyn. And if you just want nervous system regulation, that would be Tab Collective.
it's so beautiful. Oh, I hope you receive so much from this podcast. And yeah, I would pour everything in if I could. This was just the best experience. And thank you so much for your time and your healing powers and really just the commitment to continue to empower other people. I think that's so unique and special, and it's authentically you.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Wow. Right? Like, right? Isn't she amazing? Plus, she just sounds so beautiful. Inside and out, she is a beautiful person. So, thank you so much for listening to this. And if it resonated with you, if this is something you want to try out, please share it with a friend. Go to the show notes, check out the links that I've got going on down there. And Tabatha is a gem of a person to work with. This is a modality you do not want to pass up. Trust me, I've been playing around with multiple different modalities for healing for quite some time. And I would probably put this one on top of my list. So as 100% a go-to. So check out how to reach out to Tabitha in the show notes. And if you also have any questions, you can always just sign up to the FitZen newsletter, press reply on any of my emails, and we'd be talking like directly one-on-one. So go on in, come on into the FitZen newsletter, FitZen subscription, and let's talk about yoga, mindset, and energy management all day, every day, right? All right, let's seal this beautiful practice, this beautiful podcast. All of it is one with an after a breath. Take an inhale. And remember, you are your most important project. Namaste.